there's a lot going on with Derek Carr. He's visited the Saints. He visited the Jets over the weekend, where they did tell him that he could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. They said they think they could win a championship with him. But the elephant in the room is that they also are interested in Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is deep in a dark hole right now, contemplating his retirement or his completing his career. And it puts
We're just getting high AF.
Well, he's not getting high
this
now.
time.
Not this time. And what's wrong with getting high? You've gotten high a bunch of times. So for
normalize getting high.
For the Jets, now the Jets are in a precarious position here, right? Where they're, you have a bird in one hand, and do you drop it to try to get the other one, right? And that's where they are, because I do think for the next 2 years, which is probably what you would have Rodgers for, he gives you a better chance to win right now with that roster. He's also 40. He's also a little bit of a nozzle. And you're going to have to give up some stuff to get him.
Yeah.
Carr, younger, not as good, not the same resume. He's going to just cost you money. So if you're the Jets, we'll talk about the other suitors here, but if you're the Jets, where do you go here? You go with the more sure thing, a shorter window to try to win? Because I'll remind you guys before you answer, you're playing in the AFC. You're going to have to go through two of these three guys, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen.
Yeah.
You're going to see probably at least two of them in the playoffs to get to where you want to go. You want to go against those two of those three guys with Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers?
I have a quick answer to this. The Jets, there is no pressure to win now for the Jets.
There definitely is. You're wrong about that.
Well, listen, because the Jets are doing something that they haven't done in the past few years. Is they're building a really strong foundation. I think they have one of the youngest teams in the league. I mean, they have the best offense as far as like young talent goes, and defense is pretty much likewise. It's a little bit older, but really all you need is a quarterback to go in. You don't need an Aaron Rodgers to come in here, maybe have a good season, maybe decide to retire after year one and kind of just blow it up and you're back to square one after trading away things for Aaron Rodgers. I think Carr can put enough pressure off of the expectations a little bit, and also like say they keep Zach Wilson, or say they get like the actual plan for the next 5 to 10 years, works well with Derek Carr. You can't do that with Rodgers.
Yeah, and I don't think they need that drama either. And here's the thing, I think you're actually both right here. The Jets are in such a unique position that they're built to win now and built to win in the future. They're young. They put together the right pieces to have some good leadership on both sides of the ball. And, I mean, just a team loaded with dynamic playmakers. That's why I don't think there's pressure to win now. But I don't think it's so bad that you need Aaron Rodgers to do it. I think you have a legitimate shot with Derek Carr. And going forward, Derek Carr is going to give you the longevity. I would say that the Jets probably have a good 5 to 6 year window where they can be very competitive in the AFC.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. I would say it would be different if the Jets made the playoffs, got to the second round, and then like, oh man, quarterback is the hump that they need to get over. But like they didn't make the playoffs. I see the AFC being competitive in the postseason, but the Bills are on somewhat of a decline. Miami, they still have to win a playoff game and get to what they want to aspire to be. And I mean, you're looking at the Patriots being the worst that they've ever been in the last 20 years. So like there's obviously a pressure to win, but I mean, I don't think you need to like go mortgage your future for Rodgers, especially when the Jets have built off of a really solid few years.
All right, so let me point out something that you guys are not factoring in. The two guys that are making this decision are who?
Joe Douglas and
Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe Douglas was there before Robert Saleh. He was actually hired by Adam Gase, or brought in by Adam Gase.
Yeah, Philly exec.
As a friend. Fired Adam Gase, I hired Rob Saleh. Rob Saleh has to make the playoffs this year. Okay, he's gonna lose his job, and you know what they're gonna do too? If they fire Saleh, they're gonna fire Joe Douglas.
You think so?
I think so.
Even with the drafts and
with Zach Wilson as his crowning jewel as a pick. That's number one. Number two.
Good point.
Number two, the Jets for the last 10 years have been on and off with their GMs and their head coaches. None of them have come in together. You've had a coach get fired, GM hired, and they've never been like kind of like Dable and Shane were this year, where they come in together, they're tethered together, and it's a clean in and out if you got to get out of the situation. I think they get rid of both of them. You can't have. Here's the thing: if you go get Carr, that is a long play. It's probably the safer play, but those guys got to think about winning this year. They got to think about getting into the playoffs this year, and you can't have Zach Wilson. You can't then sign Derek Carr for probably $48-50 million a year, because that's why he didn't want the trade to New Orleans, because he knew he could get more money. Give him that money, and then you don't make the playoffs with Carr, you're gone. You're gone. If you have a chance at Aaron Rodgers gets you to the playoffs this year. As much as you hate him, Carr, I don't know.
I think
Carr,
Carr
I
can
do
make the
not
playoffs
Yeah.
with the Jets. I think will they lose a game? They have a better likelihood of losing a game with Rodgers, but like
Carr has
I
that,
see exactly what you're saying, and that's the realistic part of it, and that could happen. But I just
Carr's big year, right? Real quick. Carr's big year, not last year, the year before, when they got into the playoffs. Best year of his career. 4 games they had to win to get into the playoffs. He threw 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, never threw for more than 236 yards. He didn't play well. Matter of fact, the game that they had to win to get into the playoffs against the Chargers, remember that crazy game back and forth?
Yeah.
He threw for like 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, something like that. How do you take that guy and go to Buffalo and win? How do you take that guy and win in the playoffs against Burrow?
What I think you're missing, though, as a Bears fan and watching Aaron Rodgers literally own us for the last 15 seasons, here's a guy that is in drastic decline.
I don't know if he's in drastic decline.
He had a chance. He had a chance. Absolutely.
Drastic?
Very drastic. His completion percentage went down, I believe, this year. His throws just don't look the same. His drive doesn't look the same. He had a chance to go out there in Week 18 and win himself a playoff berth.
Against a good team, though.
Against a good team, but he didn't even show up, man. They got blown out. He doesn't look like the Aaron Rodgers. And again,
He was injured.
This is somebody that I know he brought that up after his shitty play. That is.
Well, do you want him to bring it up during the season?
Well, I mean, there's guys that play with broken ribs and shit. You know what I mean? Drew Brees played with 1 lung, for crying out loud.
You don't throw with your rib, though.
Sure, you do. You throw.
No, you don't.
Oh
You
my
throw with
God.
your hand.
Anyway, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This guy is definitely declining because he's not the same player. He's
still
not
better than
as
Carr.
dominant. I don't think so. I
Oh,
don't
you're
know.
crazy.
let me say something real quick. So I don't think he's drastically declining because he did have like 2 back-to-back MVP seasons. But the thing that I think Mark has truth to is the fact that why did Rodgers decline, I think, is the question we should be asking. He had a different offensive coordinator for the first time in a little bit, and he had a lot of just uncertainty with a place that he's played football for that's like 15 friggin' years. I think there's some truth to Rodgers going to a new state, new team, new coordinators, new everything.
To get him hard again.
Hackett is
He'd be going to the coordinator he won 2 MVPs with.
Hackett is there, but this is a person that doesn't really care about the offseason as a quarterback would, like Derek Carr. I think there's a little bit of truth there. I think
I don't know.
trying to
All
go
that-
through the weeds there.
All that being said, I'd still take him over Carr. I think he's better than him. All that stuff thrown in the pot.
Quarterback 11.
So
He's a shitbag.
he had an off year.
He's an absolute shitbag.
Playing with rookie wide receivers. I mean,
Yeah, wide receivers that come into the league and have the freshest goddamn legs.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I think if Joe Douglas and Saleh take Derek Carr, lose a playoff game, their jobs are fine.
if they get to the playoffs and lose a playoff,
I think that could happen.
it could happen. Oh, I know. I'm not saying it can't happen.
I think but if you
I
take
think the
Rodgers,
surer bet is Rodgers, though.
you take Rodgers, you trade for Rodgers, you give up some stuff. Say I don't know. I think you could lose. I think you don't even. There is a possibility and there's a realm where you have Rodgers as the Jets quarterback and you don't even make the playoffs because of off season
No,
lack of momentum and
That's crazy.
distractions during the season.
that's never happened though.
It happened in one season with Rodgers last year.
Dude,
They didn't miss the play. There was no issues during the year with Rodgers.
there was
nothing.
Dude, I was more right than I
There's-
even thought.
but there's some stuff that you don't see that I think affected the building.
This dude didn't just decline. This dude took a nosedive off a cliff,
Mm-hmm.
right? In his last 3 seasons, he played 1 more game this year than he has in his previous 2 seasons.
That's right.
Right? He had more pass attempts than in his previous seasons with less completions,
Yeah.
a 6% dip in completion percentage, and 700-yard dip. Not to mention throwing for the second most interceptions in his career.
Do you think any of that has to do
26
with
and
a guy
12.
named Devontae Adams leaving town?
No, I think it has to do with him being.
It does.
I think it has to do with him relying on Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams.
that's what-
Devontae
I mean,
Adams made Aaron Rodgers.
That's what. No, he was good before Devontae Adams, and that's what quarterbacks do. When you have a guy that you have a connection with, you rely on him.
No. And
Every
Randall
great-
Cobb made Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Is there a little bit
What
of
about Donald Driver and Greg
Donald
Jennings?
Driver made Brett Favre.
Is there a little bit of writing
He
on the
played with
wall
Rodgers.
with Favre going to the Jets and not doing well? Do we see any
Well, Favre
comparison?
did well.
Yeah, but
He did. He got injured.
I guess to find
They were 8-2, and then he went to Minnesota and went to an NFC Championship game. So
Okay.
at that point,
myth busted. That was before I was asking because I didn't see it happen. So I was asking if there's any parallels.
Were you born
well,
yet?
there are parallels. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
I was born, yes.
Same
Yeah.
two teams. There's parallels. Another suitor for Carr is the Panthers, who have yet to meet with him, but they are kind of lurking, and I think that would affect the Josh Jacobs moves. Obviously, if they got to give him a truckload of money. And Aaron Rodgers, from what I've heard, it's either the Packers retirement or the Jets, really.
Yeah.
So
Is death still on the table?
hey, man, you just gotta let go, let go and let God.
Do we? It's a dark horse, but Carr to the Falcons at all? Because they have a Desmond Ridder that not really plays like Derek Carr, but fits more of that mold than like plugging in Lamar Jackson, who would do a lot better in Atlanta if that ever happened. But I can see Carr to the Falcons being a thing.
Carr and New Orleans are both interesting just because they play in a trash division.
Yeah, I think that's so lame though for Carr to go to the Saints because you're just following the steps of Jameis Winston, freaking Taysom Hill, Terry Bridgewater. Like you're going in for a few years to play with a team that's in cap hell and doesn't know the direction. Could fire their coach after a year. I just don't. I don't like that move at all. If I'm Derek Carr.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe they're just really good because you think Derek Carr could beat all these guys in the AFC.
I mean, the Bills are on a decline. The Patriots are the worst they've seen in 20 years.
The Bills are not on a decline,
Dude, I'm not saying it's a like
Bills- the Bills
send
window
the
is
alarm.
closing.
I'm just saying the Bills are on
It's
a
just-
decline a little. They are on a little bit of
Here's
decline.
great. It's like a team. If they don't do better than they did last year, then they're on a decline. It's a sport. Teams get knocked out.
They're getting
you have
older.
a bad game.
Yeah, but the
Let's
Bills
just say
have glaring problems.
If Grandma
though.
says, it's a little chilly in here, let me shut the window. That's what the Bills are. The Bills are now the window coming back down.
I don't think so, guys.
They are.
the Bills have glaring
Grandma's
problems.
not
They
hot.
were Super Bowl favorites at the beginning of the season. Now they're on the decline.
Grandma's not hot flash. She's
called-
throwing
it's-
that window
it's
open.
called
She's shutting that
recency.
bitch.
Well, no,
Recency bias,
I mean, that's
guys.
called a decline. If you're a Super Bowl
They-
favorite and now
You got
you're not that, that's called a decline.
Von Miller injured again,
Yeah,
and
okay.
another year older. You have Stephon Diggs, another year older. You have Gabe Davis, who didn't really show up.
Well, if-
you got Josh Allen, that is
He's still Josh
he's
Allen.
getting a little old.
The Josh Allen
Come
thing
on.
that's a little ridiculous. But they have glaring problems. That defense is a little bit older. They're not going to be able to keep is it Matt Milano or who's our safety that are both on contract years. They're not going to be able to keep the
Poyer.
same defense. Poyer, thank you. They have an offensive scheming problem. They can't seem to run the ball
They
how they
have
want
to run the ball.
Yeah, but we've been saying that for a little bit now. I mean, they don't have a number two besides. I wouldn't even call Gabe Davis a number two, being going to school for UCF.
I hear
Even
what
the
you're
bias
saying.
there.
I don't think that you could say they're on a decline until
And the Jets beat
You
them
see-
twice last year.
they beat them once. Until you could see, until we see what they do in free agency, what they do in the draft. Because before the Eagles went to the draft, nobody was talking about them being the powerhouse in the East. Same thing with the Jets. That changed the face of everything. So I think we got to wait and see what they do in the offseason
Oh, yeah,
before we say
agreed. Agreed.
they're on a decline, their window's closing. It's insane.
It's almost
but
fully
then
shut.
you'll drink the Burrow juice and say, well, our window's
no.
always open. Oh, well,
I hate Burrow.
That's ridiculous.
Burrow to me is like Aaron Rodgers Jr. I can't stand Burrow either.
No, well,
You don't like
there's
guys
a
with
problem there.
confidence, huh?
Yeah.
It's
Makes you
not
feel
guys
small.
with confidence. It's guys that just are
Makes you feel small.
overhyped.
He likes quarterbacks like Justin Fields that just admittedly don't like the weather in Chicago.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Where
he goes out and he plays and he
said
balls.
he wanted to play where? I forgot where he said he wanted to go.
Who, Fields?
Just like the other day, I heard an interview with him on Barstool.
Part of my take.
Yeah. Well, there you
well.
go. There's your fish guy. So I think that's it, huh?
Yeah, I'd like to say that decline and what's the opposite of incline? You would say increase, right? Not
They
decline.
took a step back because they didn't. Yeah, but they didn't. The decline is different.
Yeah, but I think like recency bias and like decline or incline or increase are kind of hand in hand. I mean,
That what?
that what?
What'd you
What-
say?
Decline and the opposite of decline, would you say that's increase or incline?
I'm not getting what you're saying. You should use hand gestures.
Okay. Well, I don't even want to say it now.
So,
Decline is like day to day. Like you can be declining one day and then not be declining the next day. But I think the Bills are
Is
on
it
a decline.
incline or is it decline? How do you say it?
Well, you're doing that, and then you just did that to Joe Burrow a second ago. So everyone's throwing
well, I
hand
was
gestures
doing
around.
that.
Well, he just did it again.
You,
So.
you didn't- I don't think you realized.
Yeah, you were
you were
just-
like, you
Oh,
were
with
doing
the-
this.
Give
No.
double handies. All right.
Yeah, well,
You're
so
skiing.
you just did it twice.
You were
And
skiing, buddy.
All right, we don't got to beat the decline horse to death, right? I get it. I just don't think they're on a decline.
Your hand gestures were getting me
Think
inclined.
they lost. Cincinnati beat their ass. They got to fix some things up, but they still have Josh Allen.
the offense and the defense are just got to go and do it now.
All right, well, guys, that's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Listen, you can check us out on our socials: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, especially YouTube. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Guys on Network. Look out for our other show, Guys on Draft. We want to send love to Rocky because he's out there. Was it National Sticky Bun Day?
Sticky Bun,
Yeah.
National Sticky Bun Day or whatever it's
He's
called.
just shoving his face.
Yeah.
Bet he is.
Piece of garbage.
Couldn't be on the show. Had to eat some desserts instead.
Yeah.
Goes to show what type of
All
character
right,
he
yeah.
has.
So please like and subscribe and follow and do all that stuff. Comment. We love you. Peace.